Hey guys, Dad here. Hope you guys are well. In the last episode of Dadvice, I talked about inputs and outputs, and I realized that as I was describing how to use that model, it primarily focused around kind of a negativity environment, right? So I used the concept of if you are feeling for a number of days or weeks depressed, sad, lonely, irritated, frustrated, etc., discouraged, whatever, that use that as an aha moment to go back and write down your outputs, right? How am I feeling? And all of the ways that I feel, how it's affecting my body, how it's affecting my mind, just everything about how I feel. And then, of course, you turn it over and do the inputs, the input columns, and then you're tabulating that and coming up with a way to show and to sort of connect the dots on why you feel the way you do. And of course, that's all negative. And that's a great way to use, that's a primary way that I tend to use that tool that I came up with a few years ago. Now, what about the opposite side? What about a positivity environment? What about a time when for days or weeks you've just started feeling like everything is really clicking for you? You have a sustained focus in what you're doing. You're like in the zone, undistracted. Relationships are flourishing. The stuff you're producing is really quality and you're feeling good about it. Those are positive things, right? And that's really what we want more of. That often defines the quality of life that we really want. Everybody kind of wants that. And so what I would encourage you to do, guys, is to do the same thing as I encouraged you in the last episode. When you have had a run of days or weeks in which you've had that feeling, I would encourage you to take out the inputs-outputs journal and create an outputs page along the same lines, describing how positive you feel, how things are clicking for you. Be very explicit, very detailed. Again, nobody's reading this but you, but you're writing down all of the ways that you feel. You're writing how you feel, being very specific about what's clicking, what's working well, how you felt about the things that you've produced, how you feel when you get up from doing that thing, how you feel when you have left a conversation with someone, how you feel when you've left or finished watching a particular program or listening to a podcast or watching a YouTube video or whatever it is that you do. Look at all of the inputs that you have in your life, and then you're describing how you feel about those. And so then same thing, you'll flip that over on the other side and do the same columns and then record those inputs, right? So you're recording, what have I watched? What have I listened to? How much time have I spent on social media? Who have I been hanging out with? What have I been eating? How much have I been drinking? What have I been drinking? How much have I been exercising? The same things, you develop your own categories in those columns and then you tabulate and then connect the dots. What that allows you to do is to optimize and maximize. So maximizing is important, right? Because if you are feeling a certain way and you can connect the dots to the things that you've been doing, your inputs, then you can maximize those, right? You can do more of those things in order to enhance and maximize that quality of life feeling that you have. Optimizing is important as well, because you may find that there are more efficient ways of doing some of those things in your life. That's where wisdom comes in. The knowledge of what you're doing combined with repeated application of it produces wisdom. And wisdom is that space where you have aha moments about how you can have the same level of craftsmanship, perhaps with less work, or you can produce the same amount of things, but with less effort. You can run just as far, but with less pain afterwards, or you can, eat a different type of food and have the same effect. You're trying to optimize, and that's where a lot of wisdom and aha moments come in. So I wanted to go back and give a bookend to that other episode. The inputs outputs is not a tool used primarily just for aha moments when you are feeling or have been feeling negative for a number of days. It's also a very powerful tool for tracing and connecting the dots on why you've been feeling positive for a number of days or weeks. So I hope that's helpful, guys. I strongly encourage you to consider creating your own inputs and outputs journal. And I've thought about creating like a template for you or something, but I kind of want to stay away from that. I love creating tools for people to use, but with you guys in particular, I feel that you're never going to get more value than if you deep dive into this stuff yourself. I can give you tools all day long, but like the tools that are in my red toolbox in my garage, they're just going to sit there. They're not going to get used very often. But if you are building the tool yourself, you're invested in it and you're going to use it, and it's going to be something you're going to come back to regularly. So I love you guys very much and look forward to giving you some more advice in the future.